Hello, I'm Penny Pullan, and I'm really thrilled to have with me the publisher of my new book that's about to come out, Making Workshops Work. But she is Alison Jones, and she is a director of Practical Inspiration Publishing, who are my publishers for this book. And she's also host of the Extraordinary Business Book Club.
Hello, Penny. It's lovely to be here with you.
Yeah, and I've invited Alison to join me just so I can ask her a few questions. Because the first thing is, well, why on earth did you choose this? I think it won a prize, and you chose it as the winner. So, why my book?
Well, just to give a bit of context, the prize it won was a publishing deal, which was for the very, very first 10-day business book proposal challenge back in 2016. And I've been running that challenge ever since. So there's quite a good crop of books that have come out of it now. It's still the original, still the most exciting, Penny. And yeah, I remember being really, really thrilled because I came up with the idea of the proposal challenge. Over 10 days, we go through every field in a proposal document. And by the end of it, you have, and of course, you were an old hand at writing proposals, but I think it was a helpful, well, I mean, you can tell me, but I thought it was a helpful structure to do it in. And at the end of it, I got the submissions for the people who had completed the course, and I promised to choose one, and I would offer a publishing deal basically to the winner. And it was quite a big gamble because I didn't know what I was going to get, and I'd promised to publish one, and so I was hugely relieved that actually I got some extraordinarily high quality submissions in. But yours really stood out, and I'd like to say that I was massively prescient, and I knew that we were all going to be in this situation in 5 years' time. But I think, to give myself credit, I did even then recognize that this was the direction of travel, and that people who were highly skilled at delivering workshops in person didn't have the same skill set for doing it in a hybrid way, for doing it online and so on. And I just thought, this is a book that we need now, and it's only going to become more important in the future.
It's interesting because I did your challenge I'd been just published through Kogan Page, my previous book, Virtual Leadership, and it was too early for me, really. My next book was just a little spark of an idea. But I did your proposal challenge, and over the 2 weeks, it then got this completed proposal, and it was all clear. So I have been telling everybody how wonderful it is. If you have a book in you, a business book, then please do get in touch with Alison. I think I've sent lots of people your way already, and I think there are a few books that actually have come out since.
Yes, there's a huge range of books that have been published in all sorts of ways. So traditionally published with Practical Inspiration, obviously with the winners particularly, but others as well, and even some self-published books. So it's an agnostic, it's a publishing agnostic process. But actually, even if you're self-publishing, you need to know the stuff that's in a book proposal. You need to know who it's for, what problem it's solving, how it's going to be structured, what your marketing plan is going to be. So it's just a really helpful structure into which to put your thinking.
And brilliantly, all the words on the back, I think most of them were out of the challenge. So that was really helpful.
Yeah, it has stood the test of time, hasn't it? That copy.
You keep talking about time because actually it was in 2016 that I entered your challenge, the Business Book Proposal Challenge, and came up with a publishing deal at the end. But that was quite a long time ago. So a lot happened, didn't it? In my life, I had family members who got ill, and one died, and I had the structure in place for a long time, but everything was changing. And I was due to write it last year for 3 months, from March, April, May, I think it was. But then the pandemic
Spectacular
hit.
timing, yes.
And what happened was that my previous book, Virtual Leadership, took off. And I was being deluged. How do you run an online workshop? How do you run online meetings? How do you really engage people remotely? All this sort of stuff. I was even in the Waitrose magazine, which is the one, incidentally, that I've had most inquiries from. So I was writing like crazy, but not the book. So I finally got down to it and really started churning out, probably last summer, autumn, and I think you got the final thing shortly after Christmas.
Well, it was well worth waiting for. I knew it would be. And to go back to the point before that, life happens. And at the end of the day, it sounds blasphemous for a publisher to say it, but it's only a book. People are more important, and you just have to roll with it. I knew it was going to come. I knew it was going to be worth waiting for, and here it is.
Thank you. And what's lovely is I'm doing quite a few talks around this topic of making workshops work, and people are saying how much it's resonating for them. And last year I was thinking, oh no, if only it was out now and I could point people at it. But I've been able to bring in stories and experiences from the pandemic onwards. I talk quite a bit about hybrid workshops. I probably wouldn't have been quite spent so much time on that before. And all these things are quite key at the moment as people are, gearing up to moving into a different phase of all of this.
Yes, I think that's really true. I think that we see things differently, and it has it will have a more receptive audience. It won't just be the early adopters who will have this. Everybody now knows they need this, and whatever happens in the future, we can never unknow what we now know about virtual collaboration, about virtual leadership, and so on.
Yeah.
So I think this is the new business as usual, and it is a whole new skill set, and it has whole new pitfalls as well, and you are very good at covering those with some hilarious stories of your
They're not just my own. I gathered them from loads and loads of people. So thank you very much if you were one of the people who contributed a story. They're marvellous. Yeah, I giggled and giggled, even rereading the book, just some of the stories that people let me know, which is brilliant. So, Alison, if somebody's thinking, should they get it? Should they not? What would you say? I mean, you know it quite well, but you're not the author. And say whatever you want to say.
Well, as a publisher, I don't think I can be quite independent either. I don't think this is an unbiased opinion. But yes, absolutely, you should get it. For goodness sake, if you are involved in delivering workshops, you have to know this stuff, and you have to be even if there's a lot of stuff that if you've been doing it for years and you may well know it. Just reading the way it's organised, getting the clarity of your thinking, and the clarity of your thinking is something else. It's really interesting to see the mind maps, to see how you make connections between things, the stories. You cannot read this book and not come away with something valuable that you can take forward. And I guarantee there will be an idea in there, or a technique, or a warning that you just hadn't thought about before. So yes, I would absolutely get this book. It's also very, very readable. It is funny, and it just sounds like you talking, Penny, which I know, and I know why that is.
Yeah, I actually spoke the book because I draw everything as mind maps. So, colourful mind maps, which actually some of them are in the book as well. Each chapter was a mind map, and I scribbled all over it. I lost some of the pages, but enough of it was there. I put it back on the computer, and then I wrote the draft chapters by taking the mind map for the chapter and explaining it to somebody who didn't necessarily know all the content, but somebody who is interested. And it was a teddy bear, actually, just behind the microphone. But I spoke it through, explained it, and then put it through AI transcription, which is so much better than it used to be. And there we were, the first draft.
And you can tell, because it doesn't sound as though you've disappeared behind a lectern to deliver this. It sounds like a conversation. There's a warmth in it, which once you know about the teddy bear, you understand completely. And it's just very readable and well broken down and well signposted. The structure's good, which is something that I always bang on about. You have to support the reader, you have to signpost them, you have to make it possible for them to dip in and out. And you've got lovely, diagnostics. If this is your problem, go here, which is super, super helpful if you're using it as a quick reference as well. Yeah.
Because the thing is, people don't have the time to sit down and read a whole book, do they? Often. So, if you can get people to the right place. The other thing you mentioned was structure, and you kept talking about that. And I think just the way I write, doing these mind maps forces that structure in. And I think probably because I was writing, when you write a book, you really have to clarify your thinking about things, don't you?
It's one of the best reasons for writing a book, I think.
Yeah, you really have to get it straight, because then you can communicate it well. So I think I'm probably clearer at thinking through these things than I was when I started.
And that feeds through to everything, of course. I mean, when you're speaking to people about it, because you've done the work on the book, because you've had to articulate it for someone who isn't in the room with you, it can't help but help you communicate it everywhere, in talks, in training and so on.
Brilliant. Right. So, how can people get hold of them? They can get hold of it on your website, but pretty much anywhere, online
Absolutely.
and offline.
Yeah, anywhere they sell books, you should be able to get this book. And
Brilliant.
it's repped internationally, and hopefully in libraries, in academic institutions, as well as in bookshops. So wherever you buy books, buy this. And of course, we are doing the Kindle deal. So if you are reading this, if you're listening to this on Monday, I can't remember what date that's going to be.
It's going to be the Monday, the 12th of July. So it's a day before the paperback comes out.
So the paperback comes out on Tuesday, the 13th of July. But if you're listening to this on Monday, the 12th of July, then get a wiggle on, because you can get the Kindle ebook for just 99 pence or 99 cents, which is an incredible bargain. So to get it for yourself, but also if you know people who need to do this stuff, then tell them about it too, because they will thank you for it.
Yeah, because after that it's about 10 times more, isn't it? The Kindle.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a
launch deal.
Right. So yes, please do share it with everybody. My aim with that is just to get it out to as many people as might possibly need it as possible. If people wouldn't normally buy a book, then actually maybe that'll just give them the nudge. But of course, once they've bought it, they do need to dip into it.
They'll probably buy the print as well, because they've got, because you know what, I need this. But it just gives people a risk, well, not risk-free completely, but it's very easy to take a punt and see what you think. And I think that's terrific. And of course, you can gift Kindle books these days as well, which is worth remembering.
I found that out too. Yes. So I might be buying quite a few on Monday just to stock them up. Brilliant. Thank you so much, Alison. It's been really good. Really, really.
And thank you for writing it. It is absolutely terrific. So
and I did get there in the end.
We got there.
Thank you so much. Yes, very patient publisher. I don't know whether I should be saying that, should I, Alison?
No, don't let them think that this is normal.
Okay, thanks very much.
Take care.